We are back on the record at 4:38. This is Media 5.
Do you wish to change any of your answers from earlier?
Negative.
You understand you're still under oath?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yep.
On page 18 of your complaint, you reviewed your complaint before it was filed with the court, correct?
Yes, but unless I have it in front of me, I'm not really going to be able to comment too much.
In that complaint, you state that Ms. Youngblood had a 50% interest in DOD. Is that correct or is that incorrect?
If that's what it states,
Then it's correct?
I believe so.
Okay. And you do agree that Youngblood is the one that filed the trademark for DOD, correct?
Yep.
And Ms. Youngblood generated live streaming sales for 2019 for DOD, correct?
Yes.
And wasn't she responsible for the speakers at the conferences for DOD?
Responsible, what do you mean?
For determining the speakers at DOD conferences?
It was usually a group discussion.
Who was obtaining the speakers? Were you?
No, that was her job.
Okay.
Sometimes I would contact speakers.
Okay, but it was her job, you said, right?
Yep.
Okay. And the document says you get a 15% of the net profits, equivalent to $11,789, correct? Does that sound about right?
Can you repeat that?
Sure. You were entitled to a 15% cut of the net profits, equivalent to 11.
Of DOD?
Yes.
15?
Percent.
Where is that stipulated?
Sure. It's Exhibit 17. I can show you.
Because that sounds like some sort of written agreement to me. Maybe we need to find it.
Have you seen Exhibit 17 before? Do you have one for counsel?
You said this was exhibit number 2?
So where did
17.
this?
So, 17. Okay.
I don't know where this 15% agreement came from. That's probably one of those things Leon negotiated.
Do you recognize Exhibit 17?
I don't know. I don't recognize it right off.
Does it sound to be about the right percentage that you're supposed
That's
to
the
get?
amount I was given, but I don't remember ever having a discussion to where, you know, Corey gets 15%, David gets 15%. There must be contracts somewhere.
There must be?
There
Or
must be. I mean, why would they, is this just verbal agreements we're talking about? David had, I know David got a contract
because you told me that oftentimes there wasn't a contract.
often.
So when you say there must be, I'm confused.
I'm saying there must be. It looks like that's being enforced from a contract to me. That looks, I'm doing this per a contract. I mean, that's what I get.
Does it say anywhere in Exhibit 17 anything about a can you move your glasses?
It doesn't say anything about a contract.
No, I don't see anything either.
No, but it's listing things as if they were coming from a contract.
Are you aware of a contract for DOD?
Not that I can remember, I don't, unless it's in my documentation.
Okay, so a 15% cut, is that what you believe you has as far as a percentage?
Yeah, it was very difficult. DOD 2019, I really...
2018.
2018, okay.
Now, who owned the domain for DOD? The website domain?
Can't remember if I registered it or if someone else registered it. I know I came up with the name. I invented the name. And that was in the group chat that got deleted, of course.
But wasn't the domain that was registered and developed both by Adrian Youngblood?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
I created the event name. I'm not sure who of us secured the actual URL.
Are you sure who developed the website?
No.
Are you sure who developed the?
I think Roger did.
Do you own the website currently?
I don't know. I have to look through all my lists. I don't know if that's.
What makes you
There's
believe?
I have like something like 300 to 500 URLs.
Okay. Have you ever been accused of cyber squatting? Is that a no?
No.
Okay. Do you remember calling Leon Kennedy after the conference and being told, telling Leon Kennedy that you wanted more money
Wanted more money from what?
from the DoD conference?
What year?
2019.
2019?
Yep.
No, I don't.
You don't remember initiating a phone call within about a week after the conference?
Well, after the conference, on my way home, I found out about the trademark being filed without my permission, and there was a situation where Laura Eisenhower's husband at DOD was drunk, carrying a firearm, threatening to kill me, shoot me with it, and she just thought it was a big joke. Finally, someone recorded him making the threat, and still nothing was done. There was just a lot of disrespect and bad treatment by Adrian at that event.
Why were you on the receiving end of someone with a firearm being angry at you?
Well, we'll have to play the video.
You don't have any idea?
Yeah, in the video, this husband of Laura Eisenhower is friends with a cyber stalker, one of the people that we were suing in the RICO case. That cyber stalker had filled their head with all of the evil things about me, and that's one of the things I think he said in the video when he was being recorded at the bar at DOD.
Didn't Youngblood make sure you had personal security from the Samoans? The security
volunteers,
guards?
yeah, if you want to call it that. It's
Better than nothing.
volunteer, yeah, not really better than nothing, but.
Was it worse than nothing?
No, I mean, it's just kind of like somebody that hangs out.
Okay.
These guys aren't real badasses in this movement, you know. I mean, who's going to be afraid of a hippie? I brought my own security. I brought a retired general who was my security at that event.
Oh, so you had a retired general to protect you from that gun-toting guy, right?
Later, yeah.
Later?
Well, yeah, he was there at, DOD, which DOD, 2018? Yeah, in Ventura. Yeah, he was there.
So then why would you want these security guards, these 300-pound Samoan guys, to protect you if you had the general?
Those 300-pound Samoan guys were protecting David Wilcock.
Not you?
No.
Oh.
At no point did I even see those guys unless they were walking around David Wilcock. Because he was afraid of the cyber stalkers too. Because it was a big deal.
Okay.
Some of them had made it sound like they were going to show up to our conference. There should have been a lot more security, and it should have been locked down a lot more. I had my back watched by a retired general, but you know, if someone's got a gun and they have the element of surprise, what's 3 generals going to do?
Well, then why did you even have the general if you think that he wouldn't have done anything?
No, he would have done something if he could have, but the fact that Adrian and Roger and all of them knew that those threats were going on and it wasn't being dealt with, and I didn't find out about it to the last day, that my life was under threat for 2 days prior, that's negligence.
What's negligence?
not providing security or letting a person know when their life is being threatened at an event.
So you're saying there was no paid security at the DoD events?
I don't know if she paid anyone. Everyone that ever gave me security at these events was a volunteer,
How do you know?
because they were the volunteers. They were out the volunteers. They were not. They got free tickets to come and be a security guard.
And so you believe that none of the security guards at the DoD events were paid?
At the last event, I remember something about her hiring security specifically for David, because that was a part of their agreement. David Wilcock. I was on my own.
Okay. And don't you remember insisting that the security were there for you as well?
Oh yeah, I insisted that the security be in the volunteer security people be in the room, and I can't remember the name of the guy that was there, but the big Samoan guys were never around me, unless David happened to be close.
Okay. And what was the, so when you say you insisted, you said, I need security or else what?
I didn't give an or else, I don't believe.
So when you say you insisted, what does
Well-
insisted mean to you?
Well, as a person who was part owner of the event and a speaker whose life has been in danger, I insisted that some of the volunteer security people come in and keep an eye.
Okay. As far as the sequel of Above Majestic that was entitled Cosmic Secret, you demanded a director's title, right?
Yes.
And from the outlines that you provided, that's what you provided towards that production, right?
Yes, it was supposed to be a co-direction between me and was supposed to take the lead. It was going to be an opportunity for me to learn more about what goes into fully directing a property on your own. He was very excited to teach me and run me through the ropes, but we never got that opportunity, obviously.
Okay.
And it was after all that I did demand that I be director, because Roger stealing the project and getting to be director and all of that, it just was not going to set well, especially after I had provided the
Outlines.
outlines
But only
and said that.
But only 5% of the outlines were actually used in the final product, right?
Well, the outline is maybe the way Roger does it.
So the final product was how Roger did it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so it was Roger, what?
Roger did everything by the seat of his pants.
Okay. So as far as how many crew members did you pick
Pick for which movie?
for the Cosmic Secret?
Well, I'm the one that originally brought in
So you picked the
from
crew
the
members?
UX. So I had picked in the second film to be the director.
So you predict 2 of the crew members, you're saying?
Yeah, the two. Yes, yeah, those people came in through me.
Okay. And for the documentary, usually have interviews of various talents, and the interviews are shown. How many individuals did you interview for the documentary?
I was present for.
I didn't ask you if you were present. I'm asking you, how many did you interview?
None.
Okay. How about post-production? What's your understanding of what post-production consists of?
Fixing the audio and color schemes and making sure all of the scenes glib together well.
So lots of many hours of editing.
Well, yeah, lots of hours of editing.
And you did the editing?
No,
Okay. Probably hundreds of hours of editing for a documentary, right?
not if you do it right.
Okay. How many do you think it should be?
Well, the proper way to do it, have an outline, have the people you're going to talk to go spend maybe 30, 40 minutes with them getting a sound bite, and then you take that and you stick it into your outline. The way Roger did it is he just shotgunned it. He went and interviewed all of these people, and then he would sit and watch through all of the interviews to see what connected, and then he would take those pieces out.
And he would edit it.
And then edit it in. It was,
But you didn't do the edits, did you?
no.
Okay. Color correction, sound correction, did you do any of that?
No, that was mostly done by UX.
Okay.
Most of the post-production was done by EUX. Roger edited it together, and then I think they fixed it. I don't think he did the post-production.
Okay. You did tape for one day for 5.5 hours for your interview, right? On Cosmic Secret?
Cosmic Secret,
Mm-hmm.
yes. And then
Okay.
my audio was completely screwed up by Roger's guy.
And didn't you sweat out your shirt during that?
Yep, I always sweat on camera. I'm doing it right now.
Okay. And you had to go to purchase a matching shirt. And you had to buy another shirt.
No, we use hair dryers on them.
And you went to panic attacks during filming, right?
No, I did not go into any panic attacks during the Cosmic Secret.
Okay. Did you go into panic attacks on another one?
No.
Okay. And didn't Roger Richards have to tell the staff to leave the room so he could talk you through your answers?
There was one of them. There were way too many people present.
Sure. So you wanted
Yes.
less people in the room
Less
before
distracting. Yeah.
you could talk.
Just like now, all the different people
And so-
doing fumbling around, messing around, scratching their noses and all that. It's very distracting when you.
Sure. And so who was directing when you were during that 5.5 hours?
Roger.
Okay.
I wasn't giving a director's fee, just a director's title. People give titles all the time, executive producer.
Yeah, but only 5% of your work was actually used from your outline in the final piece of work, right?
Against my wishes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, Roger doesn't work like a normal professional.
Okay. And you believe that Kennedy and Richards have power over the finances of Above Majestic and Cosmic Secret, and they embezzled funds for their own use, right?
That's what I believe.
And you believe that that's happening currently even with DVD sales, right?
I believe it was happening with DVD sales, and if these current DVD sales are tied to your clients, then of course the answer would be yes.
You believe it's tied to all my clients or just one of my clients?
I think it's tied to Roger.
Okay. And if it is, do you have any ideas? Like, let's say he sold 50 DVDs in the last 2 years. You're saying you would be entitled to 20 or 25% of those 50 DVDs?
I'd be entitled to the same percentage of those DVDs as I am the other distributions.
Approximately 20 or 25%, right?
Right.
Okay. So about 12 DVDs times $40?
That's 12 DVDs?
Well, if you take 25% of 50.
Are you talking about just the people that complained?
I'm saying
You think
if
those are the only people that bought DVDs?
from
100% of the people that didn't get DVDs complained?
Roger. How many of you, so you believe you have 50 complaints?
We have dozens, and I don't know
And you
how
could-
many more people didn't contact us. Usually only about 3 to 4% of people that in those situations actually make contact.
Okay, so 3 or 4%. So you believe there'd be 33 to 25 times more than the people that then complained, right?
I believe at least, yeah.
Okay, so you believe that it'd be a couple dozen, so 24.
This is all guesstimate stuff.
Sure, that's all I have. That's all you have to give me right now. So I just have to go off what you can tell me.
Well, I mean, you can go off of what your clients' numbers are. They should have all of that. They sold the DVDs, but even though they didn't
They?
give them out.
You're saying they,
Roger
plural.
and Leon. Roger and Leon were a part of the first venture of selling DVDs. It was Roger, Leon.
Let's be clear. Do you have any evidence that Leon sold any DVDs in the last couple of years?
I have evidence that he was a part of the original DVD sales with Roger Richards.
Which was approved by you, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any evidence that Leon Kennedy has ever been a part of any DVD sales that's not approved by you?
Not yet, no.
Okay. Do you have any proof at all, or that would lead you to believe that Kennedy did anything as far as embezzling funds for Above Majestic or Cosmic Secret at all?
Never saw a penny of the DVD sales, and we weren't getting consistent distributions through his bank account as we were supposed to, and he refused to show us the numbers, even though he had promised that he was going to be completely transparent when he first started this, and he was anything but transparent.
I thought for like at least 9 months that you actually thanked him. You sent him an email saying how much you appreciated.
But during that time period, I wasn't worried, and I wasn't asking to see the bank numbers. And every time I asked him, when I asked him when I was going to be put on the bank, he said, "Oh, Corey, I'll get around to that. We'll do that. There's so many other big things going on. Why are you so worried about that?"
And so you believe that when you get the documents back from your subpoena, when you get that, then you're going to have the evidence necessary to find out where the money went, right?
Yes.
Okay. Any other documents or any other place that you need information from in order to determine this embezzlement?
That's more of a question for the accountants. I'm not an investigator.
As far as how they are collecting monies and making disbursements from both documentaries,
What do you mean?
have you talked to discuss how they are accounting for the collection of monies and disbursements from both the documentaries?
Objection, counsel, he asked you to clarify.
And not
You just
repeat.
Sure.
Restated the question.
Well, it's a pretty straightforward question.
Is it?
You know,
I do.
have you spoken with them
I have.
about distributions?
What about distributions?
Distributions of monies from Above Majestic and Cosmic Secret. You've heard of those?
Yes.
Okay, it's a pretty straightforward question.
Well, it didn't make sense to me.
Objection.
Well, have you spoken with
Twice.
them? Have you? You have spoken with them twice?
No, I said what you said didn't make sense both times.
Well,
I heard it. I talked to when all of this fiasco was going on, and I asked him what it would. I asked him if I could have the money transferred to a different account, and he said, "Corey, according to us, you signed the contract, you signed the tax information. It's your movie, according to us. And wherever you want that money to go, it will go." And then they changed the bank accounts
for you.
for me.
And you change it into a GES account.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the account that you gave the different DBA name that you spoke of earlier, correct?
It's not a DBA, but it's just an indicator so you know which account is which.
And what do you call it?
Documentary distributions.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's a documented distribution account where the distributions that are earmarked for my clients are taken by you and used elsewhere.
Correct.
Okay. And you're
Just
not
like they did with the DVD sales.
and you're not holding those in trust.
No.
Okay. And does Jim still work with?
He is a contractor for them now. After they were bought out, he worked directly for them when they were the Orchard. When I think he became some sort of a contractor, he was no longer an executive there, and now he is still in that same position with. That bought out recently.
In your affidavit that you filed, you describe yourself as an easygoing person teaching love and peace, right?
Yeah.
Objection. What affidavit are you talking about?
You remember an affidavit?
I don't remember, but that's how I would describe myself.
Counsel, you have a document. If you want to ask him about a document, you can put the document in front of him.
You're right, I could, but I'm not going to. I'm asking him questions right now. I'll conduct my deposition how I want to.
All right.
When you're asking questions of my clients, you can ask them questions. If you want to show them documents, you can. If you don't have to.
Noted. You can continue.
Yeah,
All right,
sounds like a
so-
good way to set a perjury trap.
Well, I'm just asking you a question. Are you ready to commit perjury?
No,
Objection.
I'm not ready to be tricked into a perjury trap either by
Okay.
not being specific or holding back documentation.
Well, are you being truthful with me right now?
I am.
Is there anything you've said today that is perjurious or is not truthful?
Objection.
No, not unless you phrased something in a weird way that you can go back later and try to pick something out of. I have answered everything. That's why, I want to see documentation, see what you're talking about.
When you haven't understood something I've asked, you've asked me to rephrase it, right? Like
Yeah.
right now, you said, "Hey, I don't understand that question about." And so we went through it step by step and piecemealed it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm going to show you what I'll mark as going to mark as 6B as in Bravo, and we're omitting exhibit numbers. It's true. Sorry, Madam Court Reporter. Is your email address emailangel@aol.com?
No, that's Leon.
Okay. Is your email
Counsel, I don't see any base numbers on this. Where is this from?
goodytech@yahoo.com?
I'm sorry? Counsel, where are the
Not
base
my,
numbers?
not my deposition, counselor.
This is, but I'm not going to have you question my client over something that hasn't been produced.
Is your email address goodytech@yahoo.com?
Yep.
Okay. And do you remember receiving an email from emailangel@aol.com in 2020 in February?
I received constant emails from that email address. There's no way I could.
Okay. I've handed you a document that's been, it looks like it's a 6B on the first page. It's about 5 pages long. On the first page, looks like it's an email to you. And halfway down the page, it talks about, it says, Corey has stated to you 50,797 was sent through. Do you remember receiving or sending having those monies sent on January 31 of 2020? Remember that's about approximately the amount.
Okay, this is from Leon. Hang on.
Counsel, if this hasn't been produced to us and you're questioning my client over it, we're going to move for sanctions today. Has it been produced to us?
It's not my deposition, counselor. Go ahead.
You're taking the deposition.
Your client has this email, ma'am. This is his email address.
So this was not produced to us, and you're now taking it out at the deposition. You're going to ask him over. I just
It's
want
your-
the record clear.
It's your client's email.
I just want the record clear. How do you know it's his? He hasn't authenticated this yet.
Sure. You ready?
I don't know.
Are you ready for him to answer the next question, counselor?
I'm telling you, I need you to answer my question first. Has this been produced to us?
It's not my deposition. I'm sorry. So right now I'm asking him questions about an email. It's an email that he said he doesn't delete his emails.
There's no header, there's no footer, there's absolutely nothing. That this is a picture that's put on a piece of paper.
Do you have any other objections for the record, counselor, before we ask our next question?
Are you not going to answer my question?
It's not my deposition today, ma'am. So are you going to allow him to answer the next question or not? It's up
I'm
to
not
you.
going to. No.
Okay, so you're going to suspend?
No, you can continue with your deposition, but this
We can
is
call the
you're not
judge.
you're refusing to acknowledge whether or not this was. If you're pulling
Sure.
this out of thin air, then that's fine. But just let us know.
Okay. You ready to answer some questions?
I don't know.
Your email address is goodetech@yahoo.com. That's what you said at the beginning of the email, at the beginning of the
Do I
deposition.
answer
Correct.
questions?
Correct?
Or do you need to call the judge?
Do we?
Go ahead if you need to. If you feel that you need to call the
Are
judge.
you not going to move forward? I'm not going until you answer my question over whether or not this has been produced. I'm not going to allow him to answer questions over something that doesn't have. I mean, how do I know this is even a real email?
Tell me when you're ready, counselor.
You can ask him over something that has been produced.
Okay. Do you remember receiving an email from the outline, the percentages regarding your ownership interests and the distributions for?
Did I receive an email of his understanding of distributions? I don't remember.
Did you ever communicate with about the percentages on the distributions for anything with in regarding to your IP and?
Probably did. I don't remember ever speaking to him about it, but
Okay.
that sounds like.
So if I told you there's an email listing that you have a 16.5% interest in any distributions from, would you disagree with that?
I wouldn't disagree that that is his understanding, but understanding isn't necessarily correct. He's a third, fourth, fifth party.
Okay. Did you ever correct him in an email and say,
I don't
"Hey,
remember
Jim,
receiving one. I don't remember receiving that email to begin with.
have you produced all your emails to your counselor
Yes.
that have to do anything with,
Yeah, everything. I sent everything to her.
and all those documents have been produced to your attorney?
Yes.
And all those documents have been produced at counselor from you to our office?
It's not my deposition.
Okay. Well, if you want to call the kettle black, let's talk about this email that your client says he doesn't delete. So, in this
Object
email,
to sidebar.
Well, before making a comment like that, you probably need to see what we produced.
I already handed her a copy. So, 16.5% is listed for you, 16.5% for DW. What's your understanding of DW?
David Wilcock,
Okay. And 15% for Roger. Who's Roger?
Roger Richards,
Okay. And then 15% for, what are the last names for?
Objection.
And it says 10% for Leon.
Objection.
if that's what it says. That's an email from apparently, I don't know. And Leon, like I said, spoke every day, so I don't know, how accurate information can be from understanding.
Did you ever correct documents or emails that when you said, hey, this isn't enough I deserve more than this distribution, Leon. This isn't.
I think in the first one I remember doing that, but like I said, I don't remember that email chain at all, so I'm not going to make a comment on it.
Okay, that's fine. And your Light Warrior Legal Fund, what entity holds those funds?
Objection.
Go ahead.
Good Enterprise Solutions.
That's what you call GES?
Yes.
And that's an LLC?
No, it's a new corporation.
And that's a Colorado corporation?
Yep.
Used to be Texas?
Yep.
Okay. That has a PayPal account, the Sphere Being Alliance at gmail.com.
Yep. It does.
And that's where you received unemployment disability payments, right?
No.
Objection.
Or you created it and you got unemployment disability benefits.
Light Warrior Legal Fund was created after I launched these lawsuits.
But didn't you get disability payments for some period of time?
Yeah,
while
but
you
it
were-
had nothing to do with Light Warrior Legal Fund.
And you got those disability payments at the same time you're receiving payments from Gaia TV, right?
Well, my company was receiving the small amount that Gaia was paying. I was still going through surgeries and working through workman's comp. They knew that I was doing a show. I wasn't receiving any paychecks during that time period. Oh, the little bit of money that did go into my company was spent in buying cameras and reinvesting in the company.
See, my company, you're talking about GES or
Yeah,
Good?
Stacy and my company. Stacy has, of course, received small salary here and there for when she's doing all the bookkeeping and taking care of all the a lot of the business stuff she takes care of.
How much of a salary has Stacy received in 2018?
I couldn't tell you.
More than 100,000, less than 100,000?
Oh, it's definitely less. Gaia, we were not making much money at all from all of these, from those shows. It's a very low budget company, low budget television show.
And what about in 2019? How much do you think Stacy was receiving in 2019?
I don't know.
Less than 50,000?
I don't know.
Was she receiving monies in 2020?
Yes.
Was she receiving some of the monies from GES in 2020?
Yes.
And she was receiving some of the monies in 2021 as well?
Yes.
Okay. But she wasn't part of the point system that we discussed earlier as far as who deserved points from.
No, she wasn't making money from, she wasn't getting paid from distributions. She was getting paid from our main account from GES. She did not have any points and hasn't been paid out distributions.
But she's been paid out from GES accounts in the last couple of years, right?
Well, yeah. I've got probably 8 bank accounts.
Okay. What are those 8 bank accounts having to deal with?
Each one for different projects.
What's the first bank account project?
Well, the Accelerating Ascension, and one for the graphic novel. And then past that, there's the Light Warrior Legal Fund one, And I can't remember what the others are. We have like 4 or 5 others.
Now, all those first 3 are associated with GES's TIN number,
Yes,
and they're all.
yes.
Other than GES's TIN number, do you have any other entities that have accounts?
No,
So only GES is the only account that you control for an entity?
yes.
So no other entity other than GES.
That money at Ascension Works, all of that's controlled by Mike Wiskoski and his wife mainly, since she's has accounting experience.
Okay. Who are the board members of GES?
Objection.
I believe just Stacy and I. I have to revisit that. But
How
pretty sure.
often do you have, when was your last board meeting?
We have board meetings once a week. Well, we have team meetings once a week and board meetings once a month.
Are those once a month board meetings memorialized?
I believe Stacy does. She, types stuff up after. I guess notes would be memorialized.
Okay, and they're formalized minutes?
I don't know if they're formalized into minutes. Like I said, neither one of us are real knowledgeable in the business end of things. So
Notices
that's why
given?
we have accountants handle most stuff for us.
Notices given to these board meetings, waivers?
I don't think so. Just discussing the business, how it's going, where it's going, who all's involved, and how well they're participating, how it's going. It's just the status of the company.
Now, what's the difference between GES and SBA as far as, like, don't they have a bunch of commonalities?
Objection.
I don't know.
What was the original purpose of forming SBA?
SBA Entertainment,
Yes.
I'd have to look back. SBA Entertainment, SBA Media, SBA Publishing, all these things Roger was setting up, and I set up 1 or 2 of my own through that website that just about everyone and their mother sets up on a business through. It's skipping my brain right now. But I don't know, I can't tell you right now which. They all blend together in my head right now.
When you said you set up 1 or 2 of your own, what did you set up?
The GES company and there's also Good Media Publishing that we had for a little while that we dissolved.
Approximately when did you dissolve it?
I would have been in the last 4 years. I really can't remember.
2018, 2019?
Could be. I don't know.
Why form GES if you already had the SBA entities?
GES was formed first.
And why form the SBA entities if you already had GES?
All of these other most of the other entities were formed because of Roger and all of the stuff that he was doing. I think that I was originally set up. I had created a Good Publishing or something like that because I was going to start using that to distribute books. I think graphic novels and whatnot.
And that's an LLC,
I believe it was.
S Publishing?
None of those are active anymore. I only have Good GES Inc. is the only thing I have.
Did you dissolve SBA Entertainment?
Yes, I believe so.
Did you dissolve the SBA Publishing?
I believe so, yes.
And what about the other SBA
Yes.
entity? Approximately when did you dissolve those 3?
I believe it was around the time we started opening the lawsuits
Okay.
because my wife was working with the accountants on how to get all of that done.
Was it the same accountant group that you're going to fill in blank earlier that she was working with, or is it a different accountant group that helped dissolve those?
It's the same one.
Okay. They'd have all the emails, you'd have all the emails you ever sent to and from those accountant groups, correct? Because you don't delete, right?
No.
Who else owned those SPA entities along with you?
I believe Roger and some of them, Stacy, but I couldn't be more specific than that. There were so many, and there were other companies created and dissolved like crazy that aren't even on this list.
Uh-huh.
See if we can look up some of those.
So no SBA entity is still active? All
Correct.
3 of them are dissolved?
Correct. Correct. Sorry, I'm losing my voice.
What was the first working relationship you had with Mr. Richards?
Met him at Mount Shasta. I think it was 2016. We hit it off, real well, and he told me of all of his talents of creating slides and all of these sorts of things, and he volunteered to help create slides for me. And after that, for presentations, he started volunteering to do slideshows and create just like silly graphics here and there.
Okay. And what was your part of the contribution of the project with Mr. Richards in 2016?
What was my
Contribution?
everything? All he did was come in and take my information and help me organize it into slides. We would sit and talk on the phone, like if we wanted to do like any of our ideas for slideshows or whatever, my ideas, I was going to do a presentation. We'd sit on the phone, he would talk with me for like 30, 40 minutes, record it, and then he would sit and play back the recording and bang out the slides.
And these are slides, did they turn into any sort of book or publication or
No.
presentations that were made?
There's presentations at like Conscious Life Expo, that type of thing. And I have 4 or 5 people that do that for me now.
And how did you compensate Mr. Richards for that
He
work?
was volunteering at the time.
And you have evidence that he was volunteering?
Yes.
What kind of evidence do you have?
His emails. Always talking about I'm just, it's all about the mission. It's not about money and all that. And then later on, you will see in the emails where he approached me, telling me that his current partner in his shipping receiving business was a nightmare, and that he needed to find another job, and that he hoped that he could come to work for me full time. And then we agreed on $6,000 a month, and then that salary was paid to him until he resigned.
Okay. And when was that he came to you and said, I want to work with you?
I thought it was sometime in 2016, maybe 17.
Okay.
We have to refer to the documents.
Now, you said he took a salary, but did he ever make any contributions to SBA?
What do you mean?
Did he financially contribute to SBA?
Not that I know of.
Didn't Mr. Richards contribute a $45,000 donation?
No.
You laugh.
I don't think he's ever had $45,000. Of course, he told me, he says, this is what people do. It's so that they show that they have equity in a business. They will show $45,000 worth of this and $45,000 worth of that. Roger, I don't think he's had $45,000 in one place ever.
Okay. And so what was it he was showing he contributed $45,000 towards?
He didn't contribute $45,000 towards anything. He never contributed a penny towards anything.
Where was it listed that he had contributed $45,000?
And one of the, I think the business filings where you file a new business.
Did you have
It was unsigned.
I'm sorry?
It was never signed.
So did you see it before it was filed or after it was filed?
After.
Did you disagree with it?
Yeah, and that's when he explained to me, no money is actually, because I didn't have $45,000 to put in. Mm-hmm. He didn't have $45,000 to put in. He said that that was a business tactic that companies use to show equity in a company.
Did you ask him to correct it?
I didn't sign it, and that business never went forward.
When you saw the $45,000, what business was that associated with?
Disclosure something or something?
So some disclosure company?
Yeah.
And that business never went anywhere, you're saying?
No, it got quickly dissolved.
Okay.
Because I wasn't having it.
What are your understandings of Mr. Richards' rights and duties as a member of SBA?
Which SBA? What are you talking about?
Sure.
SBA is my trademark for a lot of things.
Right. What are your understandings of his rights and duties in regard to SBA, any of the SBA entities?
He helped come up and file them, and this is before Leon came in as the expert, and he asserted himself as the business expert.
So he helped file the entities, so he helped get them incorporated?
Yes.
Anything else that Mr. Richards did in relation to any of the SBA entities?
I know we discussed a lot of things, but like I said, most of these companies nothing ever happened. They were just pie in the sky ideas. You know, it's like I said, it's like buying URLs for a website that you're going to build in the future. That's what these companies were to him, and that's how he does things. He goes and he files it, and then he does all the other stuff. That's just the way, that's the Roger Richards method.
Yeah. Did you and Mr. Richards work on the Above Majestic project together?
Yeah, we worked on that together.
Yeah. Was that during the time period where he was getting $6,000 a month?
Yes.
Have you referred to him as kind of the workhorse or the engine behind things?
That is Leon's characterization of him.
What would your characterization be?
I mean, when he gets an idea for a project or he gets moved, he like tenaciously jumps on it and works on it and works on it until he gets another something else gets his attention, and then he leaves what he was doing and starts working on the other and works on that with all the passion in the world that he has, and never really finishes anything. And you will see that in the documentations with Leon. I note that he never finishes anything, and I need him to earn my trust back before he came back to work, but Leon didn't see it that way.
Okay. Didn't you put in writing sometimes that Mr. Richards was extremely talented?
He is extremely talented. He just doesn't have the follow-through.
Okay. And didn't you also put in writing that he has
a lot of potential.
Artistic.
That's a lot of what I would tell him.
Okay. Didn't you also say in writing that he had artistic vision as a director?
Mm-hmm.
That he has?
Yeah. I've told him that he had good artistic vision. It's just the follow-through that he could never finish anything.
Did his contributions toward Above Majestic lead to its success?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Was it a substantial contribution?
Which one are we talking about?
Any of his contributions toward the Above Majestic project?
Yes, the Above Majestic project. Him and guys from EUX really worked quite a bit on it.
Okay.
I think he tries to take credit for a lot of their work, though.
Okay. And he left because he wasn't getting enough credit?
He left what?
Mr. Richards left SBA because he wasn't getting enough credit?
Objection.
Why did he leave?
Objection.
His original...
To the best of your knowledge, why did Mr. Richards leave SBA?
That's really vague. When are we talking about?
At any time. So let's say the first time, because he tried to leave once, and then you kept him, and then.
I didn't keep him. Leon kept him.
But it was ultimately your decision, right? Because you're the CEO.
If my directions were followed and he earned my trust back, but then Leon decided that he was going to circumvent that, so nothing of mine was implemented.
Well, didn't you have 7 or approximately 7 things that you demanded that he promised to do before he could come back?
It was more than 7.
Directions.
But yes, I had quite, and several emails of things that he had to do before he could come back.
Did he do
and
them?
work. No.
So he didn't come back to work?
He did come back to work, but I didn't know, it was against my will. It was all of a sudden Roger's directing, and that's not what was supposed to happen. And it was like, well, we've only got like 30 days until we get the film in. There's no way that Brandon could do this, Roger can do this, so we gave it to Roger.
And so you agreed because you only had 30 days left?
I didn't agree. I protested.
Did you fire him then, because you only had 30 days left?
I couldn't.
Why not?
I couldn't fire anyone.
Weren't you the CEO?
On paper, on agreement, but everyone else decided that we don't work for Corey. We're, we're going to do what we want to do. We're going to follow our agenda. We're going to push our projects behind Corey's back. It was all a big, everyone handling Corey and not doing what I told them to. So because of this, I fired Leon.
Because of what?
Because of him bringing Richard, keeping Roger on, and because of him refusing to be transparent with the finances, as he promised in emails that you will see, I fired Leon.
Okay. And so
And that's the only way I could, they had done a hostile takeover of my intellectual property and businesses, and I had to return the favor to get it back.
So you did a hostile takeover?
A retakeover of my own business, of my own IP.
What was hostile about your takeover?
Well, to me, from a love and light community, opening lawsuits. That's like, in this love and light community, this is like way beyond the last thing you do. You don't open lawsuits against each other. That's just what they don't do, and everyone gets flipped out. For me to open a lawsuit, it had to be extremely, extremely bad, what was going on.
And so you considered yourself Mr. Richards' manager during the Above Majestic project, right?
I'm trying to remember the time period that we were referring to him as manager. There was a time period where we were referring to him as manager because I was having him handle all of the people calling in, wanting me to come and do their events. So I had them contact Roger because I was being bombarded by people at the time, wanting me to be on their shows or be in their events. And so when they would call me, I would say, talk to my manager. And I told Roger during that time period, I wanted him to be the point man for those types of things.
And so what kind of decisions did he have charge over as the manager?
He wasn't really a manager, he was a middleman. He would speak to the event organizers, and they would say, we want him to come for this amount of money and do one presentation. And I would say, no, I would rather do this for this amount of money, and them to pay for me to fly and do certain things on my rider to take, I need certain things to provide it. So he would then communicate that back, and then they would send him a contract. He would send it to me, I would sign it, or sometimes he would use my signature file that he has and send it back to them.
How did he get your signature file?
We were having a lot of problems with me traveling and him needing a signature at one point. So he asked me to sign a piece of paper, take a picture of it with my phone, and send it to him. And then he used, it was supposed to be for that one time, but then other instances popped up to where I'm traveling or something was going, and he was like, can I use the signature? So he did ask me to use it when he used it, but I just don't know how it's been used since then.
Okay. And now Roger, I believe, since he's left, he's delivered 3 other documentary films.
Mm-hmm.
That's your understanding as well?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you said he's inept or unable, or I just want to make sure we're talking about the same guy.
Yeah. Yeah, we are.
Okay. So I mean, he is not just extremely talented, but he could actually, when you say he could never finish something.
Rarely finished.
You use the word never.
Well, that's, coming out of frustration. I apologize. He would finish probably 1 out of 3 or 5 projects that he started.
He's finished 3, so you think he's started 15?
Well, that's when he was working with me. After he stopped working, I think they've been really trying hard to get as many deals together as they can.
How many of the projects that you start do you finish?
I finish my projects.
100% of the ones you start, you finish?
Pretty much.
You don't scrap any?
There are some that get scrapped, but scrapping a graphic novel in the middle, not fulfilling, doing a book with other people, because you're sidetracked on all these other things. There's in the documentation, there are lists of the things that he would start working on, and then he would become enamored with another project or something else, and he comes in and try, like he didn't want to finish the graphic novel. He just wanted to do documentaries from now on. He didn't want to do any of the stuff that he agreed to.
Just make sure I'm clear. You haven't lived on the moon, right?
Objection.
No.
You stated at one point you lived on Venus, but that's just
I've never stated I lived on Venus.
Mars.
Never lived on Mars. No, never said that.
You never said that you lived on Mars?
No.
Objection.
Did you ever say you lived on any other planet?
I've never lived on it. I've never said that I lived on another planet. No.
Did you ever say you visited another planet?
Yes, about the different, and it's different stories, a part of my IP. Yes, we discussed Mars, the moon, even planets that aren't even in the solar system, very similar to Star Wars, long, long ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
So you discussed going there in a fictional sense, correct?
Objection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which definitely locks all this stuff in as a creation and my IP.
Objection calls for legal conclusion. Let's go off the record. Take a break.
Okay, I need to go to the bathroom.
Going off the record, this is 5:41.